Hey everybody, this is Owl, and I got myself a new Real Tree camo sheet set, and I like using a sheet for outdoor canvas, rain cloth, cloak. So instead of getting a plain sheet and dyeing it or whatever, I just got the Real Tree sheet, a little bit more expensive. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna impregnate the sheet or saturate the sheet with the silicone naphtha mixture, and that makes it waterproof. And a lot of people have done this before, but I just thought I'd share my approach, and maybe you'll get some tips and tricks from it. It certainly is a great skill to know, and the sheet that comes out of it is usually really awesome outdoor canvas material. So I'll show you how we got set up here. All right, so I set up my sheet with some lines here and a couple carabiners for clips, and I've got a line going across between two trees here, and I just got it guide out a little bit, designed it so to be guide out a little bit so there's airflow in here and the sheet doesn't touch, so that the material won't stick together. And I set this up ahead of time because when it's time to hang it, the naphtha evaporates very quickly. So when it's time to hang the sheet, you want to get it hung up there and spread out so that it'll dry properly. Because if you just leave it in a big bundle, it's going to be a mess. So this is a polyethylene black bag. I was hoping to use clear. It's a little bit easier if it's clear. And we got silicone here. And we got a mixing device on a drill. And some gloves. And some naphtha. So the mixture, let's talk about the mixture here for a minute. The mixture is usually 1 tube of silicone to 1.5 liters of naphtha, right? But this happens to be a big king sheet, and I found the first time I did this that it really wasn't enough. So I'm boosting my naphtha up to 2 liters and going to boost my silicone to 1.5 tubes. And you want it about the consistency of like a runny syrup. That way it'll soak into the material better. And yeah, man, if it's thick, it's not really going to work very well. For me, I'd rather get it, have a little bit more solvent, a little bit more silicone available, and make sure that the sheet is really concentrated. So what we're going to do is we're going to dismount the sheet, and we're going to mix our silicone, and we're going to put it in the bucket, and I'm going to knead it in the bucket and wear gloves. Wear some gloves when I do that. I'm going to knead it, pick it up, turn it, put it back in, knead it some more. I'll probably close the bag and knead it some more, and I'm just going to knead it until I'm very, very satisfied. The rule is, you mix something until you're satisfied it's mixed, and then mix it some more. So you can't over knead this system. You want to get that silicone into the fibers, so the longer you work it, the better. It's not going to come out once it's in. So we'll get started here. Okay, so we got our 1.5 tubes of silicone in there, and now we're going to pour in the naphtha. 2 liters. And watch out for splashing. Holy cow. And we'll just check the volume here. See where we're at. Still got some more to go. Whoa. It's starting to feel like halfway. Maybe just a little bit more. Woo. Okay, that's good. So now we're gonna mix it. Okay, now it's time for the mixing, and this is just a little bit more tricky because this will splash. So you want to just go slow, go nice and slow. And you know, this is not a freaking quick process. This is a slow process, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, there it is. See, it's like a translucent, white, milky, like lightly milky. Looks kind of like sugar water. See that? It's very consistent, and you made sure to get all the silicone stuff off the bag. So now I'm gonna don the gloves and pull down the sheet and soak it in here and knead it and turn it and soak it forever. So the mixing was like 5 minutes, about 5 minutes, and the kneading and soaking is probably going to be like another 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so we got the tarp in the bucket. I basically put the ends down in, and this is the center, and we're just going to squeeze this down in here. And you know, we're out in the forest today, so there's a good wind blowing, gentle breeze. Can't actually even smell the naphtha, so that's a good indication it's blowing off pretty good. And you can see the silicones coming around the sides here. See that? It's definitely what you want. See that? It's liquid. And you're pushing it down and you're working the sides. The liquid's coming up the sides like that. So you can knead it around the edges. And that helps to get the liquid in there really good. And you can see there's a decent amount of liquid in here. So I'm going to turn it a little bit like this. Now all that liquid on the bottom is up on the top. And I'm not sure, but we might have more. There might be enough to do another smaller piece. Or if you have leftovers, you can always paint the silicone on some boots or a hat, something like that. So these are the ends here. And this is pretty gooey. Yeah, pretty gooey. So I'm basically just going to knead this for like 10 or 15 minutes. Long time. And then I'll get back to you. So this is it. It's a messy job, but somebody's got to do it. You can see the sheet is got a nice sheen on it. See that? Nice wet sheen. All the way around. It's really nice and consistent. And you just want it to hang flat. And just look for dry spots too. Yep. So that's it. Silicone sheet. And it's kind of touching, which I'm not really liking, so I'm going to adjust that. Okay, so that's better. And dude, the camo pattern's just really cool. Real tree, you know, can't really lose with real tree. And, you know, there'll be some spots where she might be a little folded over. And you just kind of pull it apart while she dries. You just monitor it as it dries. I mean, if you want it to be, you know, like really nice, just keep an eye on it for like half an hour or so while everything just kind of dries out. Yeah, so just wanted to kind of share that with you. I'll use this sheet every time I go out. It'll be my shelter. Um, you can, it's king size. It's like California king, and you can use it as ground cloth. You can use it as a shooting mat. Sometimes I put it over the back of my truck for truck camping, and yeah, it it's just excellent. It's like the same as mixing linseed oil and saturating a sheet in linseed oil and just letting that cure in the sun. Uh, but I think, believe it or not, that the linseed oil in the sheet is like asking for a fire hazard. And I see a lot of these people. I mean, anything will burn, but a silicone poly cotton sheet is going to burn a lot slower than linseed oil in a canvas. Linseed oil is, you know, even when it's dry, it's still flammable stuff, dude. You can still burn it pretty good. And you know, this just seems to be like, for some reason, yeah, it's probably more chemically hazardous, but for some reason, this just, I have more confidence in this taking a poly cotton sheet and putting silicone in it. It just sounds like the right way for me to do it. Now, so I don't put any guy loops or grommets or anything on this. I use button beads, which are these like little 1/2 inch wooden beads. I got like 20 of them, and I just carry them in my kit all the time. Hey, everybody, this is the Owl. It's kind of funny. Filming is not my strong suit, but so what I did was I shot like a take before I got started, and that's kind of how it works. So I'm doing some weekend warrior activities. I'm gonna sharpen up a knife. You'll see this is pretty much like the gear I carry, and I'm out here at like 7,500 feet in northern Arizona in the Ponderosa Forest, and you know, that's what I do. I work in town, man, all week, and so forget that. I get out into the forest when I can, every weekend, hopefully. So we're gonna sharpen up a knife. I got another nice little gold nuggets for you. Um, we'll sharpen the knife. We'll test the knife, and then I'm working on a backpack cover for my winter bag, and I'll show you a little bit about that. All right, so what we do is just put some saliva on your stone. Just get it wet, and then I just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So get it on here. Find that place where I feel like it's actually kind of biting a little bit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, one, 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 one. Okay, so that's it. You see how that's like just quick, okay? So whenever you're gonna do a project, man, freaking, you really gotta monitor your resources. So here we go. Here, let's see if I can do this. Stropping on a board. Yeah, I need a regular stropping board for sure. The trick with stropping is you're trying to keep the knife really level with the leather. If you go like this, you're just gonna roll it over. So you're just trying to polish that edge a little bit. Okay. And I would actually just recommend going alternating each stroke. And of course, you're going to just be careful you don't cut yourself. Okay, that's it. That's like all I want to do. So let's test this out here. Got some stuff here. Let's see. This is a Safeway receipt. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah. So it's not shockingly sharp, but it's got some sharpness to it. So keep this in mind. That's your rule of fives, man. You use your stone, you go through 5 sets, and then you use your strop, you go through 5 sets, basically. So let's see how it does on the rope here. Check this out. This is some crappy Chinese climbing rope that I decided I didn't like. That's pretty decent. If it cuts through climbing rope, right? I mean, if I just am gonna touch up my knife every day, this is fine. It's great. Okay. And what else we got here? Some cardboard. Let's see here, cardboard. All right. That's some pretty hard cardboard. There we go. So it just kind of gives you an idea. Now that I've done all that, I'm just going to go back here real quick. Okay. And I'm going to just polish this up a little bit. It's not necessary, but I'm going to use this knife for a project real soon. Something like that. 5, 7, 10, something like that. Quick. Nice and quick. And then we'll just give it a touch. Give it a feel. Seems to be grabbing pretty good there. Seems to be decently toothy. That's why I like using that stone, because when you're in the wilderness, it's actually kind of useful to have a toothy knife. Toothy knife is gonna cut through materials pretty well. Yeah, it's about even, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, this side was a little weak. So there. Kind of the same issue there. Okay, that's about right. That's about even. Okay, so consider that sharp. And then the last thing is I just lick my knife blade, and whatever's on the blade, I put it in my pants for memory, you know, just to kind of clean it up. Okay, that's it. Gonzo. And it's sharp. So we're going to move on to the next little project I'm working on. Okay, this is the next little project. We got this Realtree camo sheet and a sharp knife. And this is the new bag, right? This is REI co-op bag, Trail Made 60. And the thing about this bag is I wanted something that was going to be good enough for general freaking, you know, multi-day trips. If I'm packing light, you know, I'm bringing more skills and less tools, less comforts. So for like scouting outing, you know, like recon, you know, going out for like 2 or 3 days, something like that, and something that you could extend this bag longer if you just cut back on your supplies and we're smart about it. But the idea is I'm siliconing sheets this weekend, and so I've got this freaking fitted sheet, which is not super useful to me right now because it's just like fitted, and you know, it has some uses, but I basically want to cut the fit off about 10 inches in here all the way around, so the sheet will then be kind of like rectangular, and it won't be clean, but it's okay because I can use it as a drop cloth or whatever. But I'm going to silicone treat that, and then I'm going to take this rounded part and put it around the bag and make it into a rain cover, camo rain cover. So, and I'm going to make it fit tight. It's going to be like relatively custom fit, because here's the trick. The reason I got this bag is I want it to be streamlined. I don't want stuff hanging off of it. So everything I bring with me is going to be inside the bag. Yeah, it's convenient to strap stuff on the outside of the bag, but that's not what I'm going for. I want to be able to get through places and move fast and squeeze in, and kind of like a hunting bag. So, or a bag you're going to wear if you need to move fast. You got all sorts of stuff hanging off your bag, you know, just talk to military guys. It becomes really useless really quick. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut this, and then we're going to see where we're at afterwards. Just like that. All right. Okay, so this is the update. We cut the skirt out from around the sheet, so now I have a smaller, it looks like 6x6 sheet that I can use for whatever, a cloak, but that will get silicone treatment for like an additional waterproof shelter piece. And here we took the skirt. See this? This is the skirt here. We put it around the bag, and back here I just stitched it real quick at the bottom, and then I put an old broken down REI pad on there. This is still got some insulation to it, but I decided I don't want the bolt coming out the side, but it's probably wise for me to have enough rain cover to cover the back here, just in case, you know, like let's say I'm bringing a lightweight cot and I want to put that in there, or another piece of group equipment, or maybe I'm splitting a tent with somebody, or you know, so this is just a little bit extra here. And so what we'll do is we bring this up, and you can see how that just doesn't fit all the way. And then we'll take this skirt strip, another section of this, and I'll stitch these together. And this will go that way, and then there'll be another piece on the other side. But before I do that, I'll turn it inside out so I can do all the stitching on the outside of the bag. And then when I turn it right side in, it'll be all the stitching, all the seams will be together. And I'm gonna overlap the stitching quite a lot, probably like 1/2 inch. So there'll be a decent amount of fabric there. So yeah, that's the update. And I'll get back to you when something interesting happens. Okay, just a quick aside while I do my work. These are button beads. These are plastic, red, white, and blue. Very easy to see outdoors. These are wood, and these are saturated with linseed oil. Just about the same thing. Bigger hole, so it's easier to thread these. But this is how it works. You basically have a bead, you have the corner of your tarp, and you've got a clove hitch, right? You take the bead, and you put it up underneath there, slide your clove hitch over, and then you've got a tight corner. I'll show you. So there it is. The button is inside the tarp. Clove hitch is around the end, and then you can tack it down this way. I like this because it's versatile. It takes a little bit more time, but it also allows me to like not have to stitch in a bunch of things on my tarp. I can just take it easy, you know, keep it simple, smart, right? So this is the bottom of the bag. I got it up here in my truck, and just for easy access to the stitching. And I just ran a really rough straight stitch all the way through here. It's not pretty, man, you know what I'm saying? It's obviously not pretty. Yeah. And then tied it off at the top here. And then I'm gonna overlap the next piece and go around this way. And you can see I've got a lot of material here on the excess side of the stitch, and that's just to make sure that nothing ever frays. This is going to be saturated with silicone, so it's not going to be much of a big deal. All right, I'll get back to you soon. So this is what we got. We just did one side, and the stitch runs all the way along to the back, and this is the back of the bag, right? And so it's going to be relatively shape fitting. And remember, this is the inside of the cover, so the stitch and these excess are going to be on the inside. All right. Righty. Here's our silicone tarp. See, it's much stiffer now and impregnated with silicone. And over here is our cutoff piece, which is going to get silicone in it. And then up here is the rain cover. So this is the elastic part here, and the skirt, and then additional skirt piece here, and then so this here, triangular stitching here all the way down the back. It's not perfectly straight, which I'm not worried about. It's camo, so it's okay if it's a little frumpy, but I wanted to try and keep it as streamlined as possible. So this will go in the silicone bath too. Okay, we got 1.5 tubes of silicone in the bucket. We're gonna put in our naphtha and then we're gonna mix it. Right on. So we just mixed the silicone and the naphtha. And we're gonna start dunking our stuff. Check it out. All right, there it is. It's a real even, consistently like light milky mixture. There's no chunks in there. So here it is. That second sheet, the smaller sheet, it's like a 6x6 or 7x7. And over here is the pack cover. And now it's really starting to look like a pack cover. It's got the elastic band around it. Got some sticks in there to kind of just hold it open, keep it from sticking together. So, and you know, look at this. This is saturated, super saturated, right? Super saturated. So I'm just going to monitor it and make sure that this doesn't like fly off of here in the wind. And otherwise, it's time to cook dinner, build a fire, cook dinner. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten all day. So see you then. This is camp, just getting ready for dinner. Okay, check this out. This is the Walmart folding camp saw. It's Ozark Trail brand. I've had this for a long time, probably about 5 years, and it works good. The trick is, this is the lock. So when you're sawing on this thing, you want to keep your thumb off of this lock, right? So that's a little bit of a tool knowledge thing. And then the other deal is that this screw does come loose over time. So what I did was I put some Loctite in there, little dab will do you. And it's good, man. It works real good. I'm just kind of filming one-handed here. So the only reason that I mentioned this is because, you know, some of these folding saws are like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks. This thing was like $10, and it's got a good steel blade. It's lasted a long time. It does really good with cutting small stuff, you know. So highly recommended. I'm glad that I didn't spend more. You know, the internals are all metal in here. So there's some aluminum, but all the key components, like the lock bar, is steel. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. Walmart camp saw. Oh yeah. Cooking some sausage and some noodles tonight for dinner. Alrighty. A little bit burnt. That's okay. Yeah. Just a little bit. Hot. Hot, hot. So these are the tarps after a couple days of drying out. And this is the bag in its kind of like final configuration at its maximum potential size. So I got like a couple sleeping bags in here, you know, a bunch of stuff jammed up here, and a foam pad. So just estimating what the maximum size is going to be. And I'm going to put that homemade rain cover on there right now. So let's check it out. So that's the rain cover. That's what it looks like on the bag. And I designed it so that it'd be like not too baggy, you know, very conforming. See that? And the best way to do that is just to put it on the bag. You know, put it on the bag inside out, stitch it up, put the pieces on the bag, stitch it up, and then give it the treatment. And that's it, you know, so it's streamlined. Big, yeah, it looks big. It looks gigantic. Like I will never, I'm just not planning on carrying a lot of gear. I usually carry about 30 to 40 pounds, and I'm 6'2", 220. So I just pack light. I don't bring a lot of stuff when I pack light. So this is kind of like the maximum that it would ever be. And let's see what it looks like without the foam pad. And this is it without the foam pad. Foam pad's out, so you can see there's a little bit of play here, but it's just in the back. It's in the back. Sides are nice and streamlined still. So this is a cool little project, man. If you need some, you know, ground cloth, rain fly, you want to go camo, you don't want to spend, you know, several $100s on somebody's fabricated camping gear. You just want to keep it simple. And maybe you need a pack cover. So if you get a sheet set, you're going to have everything you need, plus these scraps. These scraps are really good for making pack cover because it's already got the built-in elastic, which is really nice. So, yep, that's about it. So thanks for joining me on my adventure, everybody. This is the Owl, signing off.